Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Analyze! I apologize for being a little late to upload this, but seeing how there's still a few days left, it might still come in handy. Anyway, today we'll be talking about the new legendary banner with Ike in it that was probably done on purpose so that now we can say we like. And please don't call him Vike, okay? You're not gonna like it when a dude who misplaces his weapon someday appears in this game, and yeah, you get your names confused. But anyway, the inclusion of Ike as a legendary hero is absolutely brain damage. I guess they've officially run out of noise or something, so they're just gonna make Ike braver and turn him into a legendary hero instead. Yeah, I mean, I get that he's very strong and is apparently affiliated with Earth in his own game, but is he really going to take over this game too? Anyway, so to start things off today, let's talk about Ike. So, once upon a time, I created the most powerful Ike in existence called MAGIC IKE. A ridiculous red sword that can tank Reinhardt and beat the ever-living shit out of him. Now, he's all grown up and can do this job even better than before thanks to Warding Breath. Comparing his stats of when he was younger to what he is now, you can see that he has power creeped himself by gaining 3 points to both defensive stats at a mere cost of 1 HP, while trading a point in speed for attack. So what does that mean exactly? Not much, really. It just means that I won't be going crazy pulling for Ike. Now, when I originally conceived the idea for MAGIC IKE, it was due to the fact that I had no plus speed IVs. But when I really thought about it, Ike is kinda slow with or without speed boon. I mean, 34 with a speed boon isn't exactly what we call fast, so the best way for him to go was to simply beef up his defense, or in Bike's case, have a broken ass weapon that reduces damage from consecutive attacks. So with Ike having a speed boon of 33 speed, he's not gonna make much of a difference with or without a speed boon. Anyway, let's talk about skills. Warding Breath, as most of you already know, is a wonderful skill that gives him the ability to charge up his Radiant Aether in a very timely manner. He'll have it charged after getting hit once and ready for his next attack. The 4 extra resistance from this actually help patch up his normally poor resistance and put him in a relatively safe 25. 28 if you go plus res, turning him into a powerful mixed tank, which is what a unit with distant counters should really strive for. Next, he has Seal Attack Dev. Yeah, let's not do that one. Debuffs are nice, but it's better for someone who actually specializes in it. Not to mention, Seal is one of the worst debuff skills in the game, so just get rid of it and run Quick Riposte in or Wrath or something. Dev Tactics, on the other hand, is sorta nice if you're on a mixed team, but in general, attack and speed is superior due to it being a more universal, which fits better in the theme of mixed teams. Finally, his Radiant Aether. Now it looks wicked cool, but it's still the same Aether, and 4 charges still leaves it kinda awkward to use because you'll need to be able to prevent a double in order to unload on someone on the same round with Quick Riposte without getting doubled. And if you do get doubled, then it's the same exact thing as a regular Aether. I honestly wish that this skill was transferable, even though I knew it wouldn't be, but I held some hope since the video showcasing him originally didn't show the restriction. Anyway, if this skill is transferable, then people who are faster than Ike will seriously benefit from this more than Ike himself. All in all, Ike is very good and is clearly an upgrade to the original, but the upgrade isn't terribly big. Thank God for that, by the way. He's a powerhouse and his blessings will always be welcome. Okay, now let's talk about building him. So if I were to build him, I would most definitely keep his Warding Breath. Distance defense is nice, but he has enough defense as it is. And please, don't listen to sites like Game Press that tells you to drop Warding Breath and waste a bike for steady breath and then calls it quote-unquote optimal. Those guys have no idea what they're doing. And a bike isn't exactly what we call an expendable resource either. I mean, look, Ike already has 35 defense, 35 is more than enough to tank most physical attacks in the game, whereas his resistance sits at a mere 21. I feel like the general attitude of those guys there is to play to a character's strength. So if they see ton of dev, they want to add more dev. They see tiny res, so they dump the res. But that's not what Like is about. I mean, he has distant counter sword for God's sake. He's meant to tank attacks and throw them back to the enemy. He's also quite slow. So really, what good will plus speed even do for him? He's not going to avoid doubles from attack that really matters, and he's not going to get additional stats for his sword anytime soon either. Now, I'm not saying he should throw speed away either, but he shouldn't focus on speed or his defense, but instead to really play to his strength with his Ragnell and counter magic attacks. You know, like how his base kit seems to indicate? I mean, yeah, you could still use it to counter range attacks, but daggers are still, even with all those upgrades. And, well, with bow, you tend to deal with Sakei's blessing half the time, so you won't even benefit from that. So Ragnell pretty much becomes a 16 might beat stick. Anyway, looking further down the build that GamePress made, I can see them use close defense as a seal. Alright, dude, alright, look. If you want to just tank melee attacks so badly, why don't you just use Lucas or Hinata or something? Because clearly you have no idea what you're doing with a character that has so much more potential. How can you build up such garbage and try to teach people? Honestly, you slap on a distance defense or deflect magic for Reinhardt or Desperation and his warding breath, then all of a sudden you have a powerful mixed tank that crushes everyone and everything the moment they dare to attack him. But, well, enough bashing those guys, let's move on to the rest of the banners. So, next up we have Seekbird for red. He's an extremely powerful unit in his own right, able to perform the same deeds Brave Roy does as a sword cavalry. Meanwhile, his attack tactics is a very sought after tool for mixed teams. I highly recommend pulling for him. Then, we have Sanaki. Sanaki. Whatever. And she's a little bit of an oddball, and her value as a SI isn't all that great, but I really like her playstyle in the aforementioned mixed team. I mean, I even did a guide for her a little while back. She's definitely legit as a unit with a unique playstyle. It's really unfortunate that, though, that her role as a quote-unquote pity breaker will make people dislike her. Next, we have Blue. Blue isn't too bad. First, we have Summer Robin. She's a rather solid unit with balanced stats and a nice speed tier. Sure, yeah, her HP is a little low, but HP is easily remedied by simply refining a weapon, or use a summoner support, or just an HP seal. I'd use her myself if she wasn't such a limited character with a wonderful spear for inheritance. That said, for inheritance, Robin has Spear Valor, which is good for leveling, I guess, Fear Junior on a weapon, and HP Dev. HP Dev would have been useful for healers at one point, but those are bygone days. Spear Valor is okay, but like I said, it's only there as a leveling tool. The Fear Junior Harpoon though, now that's strategy. Having 2 to all stats on both faces is actually really scary. The only unfortunate part is that you lose those stats after you lose some health. However, if you pair with a healer, that issue is easily corrected. Robin is a pretty solid pull. Next, we have Brave Lucina. A great buffer who can provide Spectrum Drive to physical attackers if she uses the Drive Death Seal with Drive Res in her C slot. It's a pretty cute setup, though her default drive speed is probably the better option and is very nice for skill inheritance if you go that route, but I think it's better to just sacrifice Tail Deal for that instead. As stats goes, she's a frontline infantry unit with good speed, her resistance sucks, but otherwise she's a very solid unit. Then finally we have Fjorm, Ahegao Ice Princess. Attack Dev Bond is always useful, especially for healers, and everything else I've already covered a few months back. Next, we have Green. Very, very solid color. Guntra is a troll as always with her map-wide debuff. I'd hold on to her as her inheritance option is aren't really anything to write home about. As for Summer Sander, he's great as a unit, but best as sacrifice to the infantry god with his infantry pulse. While Lilith Floaty is in their +1 to all stat boost is simply wonderful. As for Akshura, Yup, definitely a unit you want to keep with her songs of +3 to all stats. And finally, we have Colorless. Taco Meme is all about his close counter. He has decent stats, but his legendary weapon ended up being gimmicky even after Refinery. Gotta face it, his glory days are over. Now, he is nothing but lunch to healers, mage tanks, and owl tome users. Fei is fantastic as Fire Sweep bow fodder, though her bulky stats with what used to be justified trainee buffs allow her to be a surprisingly potent defensive juggernaut. Being a colorless tank is also quite nice. While she is overall overshadowed by Halloween Jacob, Fei does have the ability to be infantry pulsed, allowing her to dish out a lethal blow on turn 1. I definitely wouldn't look down on her. Summer Frederick though, he's no good. His stats are okay, but I'd rather run Saizo over him. His daggers is the same mini fury as Robin, but that kind of stuff is not very useful for daggers, especially after that massive upgrade to smoke daggers and rogue daggers, which has the potential to change an entire battle. Other than that, he has seal attack and speed. I guess it's cute, but there are far more reliable ways to debuff people now. Well, that's pretty much it for my like and his legendary banner analysis. Overall, it's a nice banner to pull on, especially red and green. I thank you all for watching. Until next time.